everybody. It's Mondays with Mark. I'm so glad you're here. And I forgot to do the opening, so we're going to do the opening right now because I have to do my opening. Watch this, y'all. Happy Monday with you, a happy Monday to you. Hey everybody, I have got a house full of people and I am so excited. Today we're going to have Vonnie Ewing Lopez on the program. We're going to have Jamey Ray of Voctave, an interview with him. And to kick things off, in case you don't know who Vonnie Ewing Lopez is, she is sitting right here, y'all, right here. Hi, Vonnie.
Hi.
And she is on Wednesday nights on that show, The World's Best. In fact, I interviewed her today. If I interview you right now, tell me about that. I interviewed you, but might as well do it here. We're live. Sure. And all the people, I guess they're all coming in. Let me check on my people. Make sure that I see, okay, window. I know Dina hates this part because I get distracted. Okay, they're all here. I see. We got a good crowd. How many we got here with us so far, y'all? I can't tell. Why didn't it tell? Anyway, Vonnie,
yes,
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
And she is going to sing for us in a minute. You sang the Andre Crouch song.
Yes.
Power. The blood will never lose its power.
To God be the glory.
To God be the
yeah.
glory.
What
made you choose that one?
That one is my. That's my near and dear. You know, it's that first line of that first verse. How I just about can't get the how out. How can I say thanks for the things? Oh my God, I just about lose it every time. So that one is sort of very dear to my heart because to God be the glory for everything.
And they saved you for the very last.
They did.
And I'm glad they did, y'all, because if you saw it after Vonnie, it was over. But the Holy Spirit entered into that place.
It did. It really did. It really did. I mean, it was palpable. You could feel it. It was, I told somebody, and I don't even know if this is going to, come across the right way, but It's like, we expect God to show up when we're doing something like that. We expect it, but it was so strong. It even whoa, okay, this is more. He does exceeding.
And right before you walked out on stage, you told me today you got a message.
I did.
That from home.
I did.
That your nephew was in a bad shape.
I did.
And you almost thought about leaving.
I did. I had pretty much made up my mind after I got the message that my nephew was in the hospital and had a brain tumor and they were going to have to do surgery. And so my thought was, you know what? I'll just go give it my best tonight. To God be the glory. I'm going to go out there and give it all I have. And then I'll meet with the producer after and I'll just say, you know what? Thank you so much. But in my mind, I thought, well, I'm doing what God wanted me to do, This is it. This was the assignment. I come, I sing a song, I go home, because my heart was at home, I couldn't imagine. And it was after the performance and after the show, just after I finished singing, they told me, run, go into this room, hold on, don't leave. Faith Hill wants to come and meet you. And there was a little bit of that was shown on the show, but the little bit that was edited out was literally she gave me a message from God, whether she realized that she did that or not. And it was basically letting me know that was my assignment and that was where I was supposed to be.
Because you told them no.
In the beginning, I when they first called the talent scouts for this show, when they first called, first I thought it was a prank. My friends are crazy, but after that, it's not my personality, I guess. Competition,
to be in a contest,
and all that. And I had friends that had done that, and I don't know, it was just so. In the beginning, I said no, but then. I decided to pray about it.
Yeah.
Novel idea.
You told me the Lord asked you, where did you get your no from, right?
When I started praying, should I do this? And he goes, well, first of all, let's answer this. Where did you get your no? And I really had to search my heart, Mark, and I realized that that knee-jerk reaction was fear. But surprisingly, what it was fear of is fear of people that I know, fear of the church, fear of what the church people might think of me, or, friends. The show's called The World's Best. So, how audacious would you have to be to
audition
you're
for that.
on The World's Best. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, now we know what she thinks of herself.
Right.
But then after the Lord was like, so that's how you make your decisions now? Because you used to pray, God, if you open the door, I'll walk through it.
Whoa.
And so what happened to that? So, yeah, I have to say I was convicted, and I had to, but I called him back and I said, yes.
And unfortunately, they didn't get to hear the whole song. But before we went live tonight, I recorded them. It's Sweet Sister Ewing Lopez.
Yes.
And Taylor,
My niece Taylor.
And your son,
AJ Lopez.
AJ, singing the song that she sang on the program. Make sure I get the right one. Here it is, y'all. I hit the wrong button, y'all. Oh, was that amazing? Y'all, you need to go. Do you have a website? Where is she? Vonnie? VonnieLopezMusic.com, y'all. You can hear more of her. Now listen, the cruise is coming up in like just a little over a month, I think. And if you want to go on the cruise, there is still time for you to get a cabin. They will put you on a list. And when the level of cabin you want comes available, you can still get on. I mean, you don't despair. If you want to go, call that number, 844-881-8844. The Ball brothers are going to be on there, the Martins, Stan Whitmire, my pastor Brett Jones, Taranda Green. It's going to be, if I'd known Vonnie then, I'd have drug her on there too, but maybe next time. But it's going to be a wonderful cruise if you want to go. Now, I'm so excited, y'all, about the interview with my buddy, Jamey Ray. He invited me to go sing with Voctave. If you've never heard of Voctave, go to Voctave.com. It's like octave with a V in front of it. And here is Jamey and I talking about how it all started. Hi, Jamey.
Hey, Mark.
How are you? I can't believe I'm talking to Jamey Ray, who is for those of you just tuning in, is the arranger. I'm going to tell you everything I know. He's the arranger, in my opinion, the genius behind Voctave. Now, I could be wrong, but to my understanding, you are the arranger, right? Have you arranged everything they've done?
Everything they've done.
Oh, my gosh. Now, how old are you?
I'm 35 now.
Oh, you're so old.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. 35. Do you know how much? I did. Well, anyway, you're young. Trust me, you're young. You've got a lot of years left. Now, who was your inspiration? How did Voctave come about? Those are the first two questions.
Well, Voctave kind of came about accidentally. All of us either currently or at some point sang with the group Voices of Liberty out at Disney.
Okay.
And there was a recording in 2014 of that group, but by a different name, Liberty Voices, that I produced. And on that album, I had an arrangement called the Disney Fly Medley. And it was a little bit of a different group of people, but I had accidentally picked up a camera that day and brought it to the studio and had brought it in to charge it for whatever reason. And after we recorded the Fly Medley, I said, hey, you know what? That was really good. I was like, I'm going to come out and we're going to sing it again. And I'm just going to walk around and hold a camera up. And I held up a camera and we did the whole song. And I put it online and the Huffington Post picked it up and it just kind of went viral. And then got contacted by the girl from Pentatonics, or we had some connections, and figured out that she wanted to do a video with us. And it was her boyfriend at the time in the video with the Disney Love Medley that told me, he said, you need to have a set group of people. You need to have a name. You need to have a website. You need to have other videos out. And this isn't just a group of friends getting together to sing anymore. This is a thing. So it was him that kind of spurred this into it, but it certainly wasn't a plan of, hey, let's form a group. So I'm glad that it happened the way that it did, but
how long has this particular group
not planned?
How long has this particular group been together?
We put our first video up Christmas of 2015, so a little over 3 years.
It's incredible, and you've had over 100 million downloads.
Well, 100 million views between YouTube and Facebook. It's and actually your video accounts for about 35 or 36 million of those.
Oh, really?
Yours is the most viewed video of ours.
Are you kidding?
No, on Facebook it's got like 36 million or something.
Oh, I'm so honored. Man, it was a pleasure. It's one of my favorite versions of the song. If not my favorite version, at least that I've done. I love it. So who inspired you? I mean, you're 35, you're still from my vantage point, wet behind the ears. Who was your inspiration? How did you learn all those chords? I mean, because you do some, first of all, I love that you feature whatever they do best, which is a great producer.
Well, I like doing that. One thing that I'm very lucky in being able to do is to not just write for a soprano or a tenor. I'm writing for Tiffany, and I'm writing for EJ, and I'm writing for Sarah's voice and Kate's voice. I know exactly what their ranges are, where they're comfortable, where they shine, where they don't shine, so I'm going to give it to the other one. That's definitely a benefit to writing for this group. But I mean, as far as inspirations, I was a big choral nerd. I don't want to say was. I am a big choral nerd and grew up singing in choirs and loved the music of John Rutter and Morton Lauritsen, and those were big people for me in that world. And then when I started getting into this world of music, Derek Johnson was huge. I mean, Regeneration was where a lot of this sound was created, and I know that he had other inspirations. I mean, groups like the High Lows, and I mean, even when I look at Manhattan Transfer and I look at Ward Swingle and the Swingle Singers, I mean that's another big one for me. But these are groups that I grew up listening to and I loved and thought. And what I did was I would
Ward
pick up their
Swingle and the Swingle sisters. What was it again?
Ward Swingle and the Swingle Singers. The
And the
Swingle Singers, you should look them up. They are an 8-part a cappella group that he first started with. He would take instrumental classical pieces and voice them out.
Okay.
And so they would sing these classical pieces. And now over years, they've kind of, I mean, they've been around, I don't remember when they exactly started, but for decades, and they've kind of evolved into being able to sing some more popular music, but they definitely started out as just a vocal orchestra. And it's a pretty cool effect. And Derek had very similar ideas as well. And so between all these people, it was just, I mean, there are moments that I hear in my writing that I'll say, and I love it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of Derek and a lot of Ward Swingle throughout that stuff as well.
What do you think Voctave brings to the choral? I mean, they've definitely taken off. They've gotten popular. Your group's gotten popular very quickly. What do y'all bring in that is so unique? I mean, because it is, to my ears, it's the one, okay, that CJ boy.
EJ. I know.
Oh, if I could have a voice, the Lord said, Mark, you can pick your voice, that would have been my voice. What is his range?
Well, he bottoms out around C below middle C. But I have him sing high D's full voice in our concert.
D is in dog.
D as in dog, and sometimes, and what he'll do to check it before we go out to sing, he'll ask me to blow an E flat above that, and he'll do some ripping sound that it comes out, and he'll go, okay, I'm good, let's go. And I don't even know how he does it. We have, it's pretty crazy, but the thing that I think that is impressive is that it's not normal voices, but it's normal people.
Isn't that truth?
And I think that people like watching the videos, and also it's not digitally or electronically enhanced. That's the other thing that I think people are just kind of swept away by. They come to our concerts and they hear us live, and the first time Kate sings one of her pop-up notes or her obligato, and I see them all look at her and they're hitting each other thinking she actually does it live. And it's not fake, and it's not auto-tuned, it's not anything. And they'll come up to me afterwards and say, I thought surely there was something that you did because it was too perfect. And I thought, I know, most people think that because it is perfect. And she records it in the room with us while we're singing our other parts underneath her. That's how this works.
Where did these people come from? How did you find all these people at once?
I'm telling you, they all came from Voices of Liberty at some point. They're all in Orlando.
Disney just attracts the best?
Well, Kate came from New York. Tiffany auditioned almost 30 years ago, and she started out at Disneyland and came over and sang at Disney World. Ashley was at Disneyland as well and sang at the group Voices of Liberty over there for a bit. Sarah and Crystal came to Disney World to sing at Voices, and EJ he was the host on the Great Movie Ride at Hollywood Studios. It's just one of the actors when he first started at Disney, and then moved his way into singing. And I know that Tony just kind of came on a friend told him, hey, come down. There were auditions. He missed them, and they said, come anyway. Just come sit in on one of our rehearsals. And they hired him on the spot. And Kurt was just visiting some friends and just happened to be sitting watching Voices of Liberty and talking to them. Hey, I've done some Broadway things and I've done this. They said, oh, there's an audition tomorrow. You should come. He went out and got music out of his car, came in and sang. JC started in a different group at Disney and moved over to Voices of Liberty when they started that. And then Carl also came from New York. He auditioned up there in New York at the same time that Kate did. So it's all very different stories, and they all just kind of worked their way into it. Only a handful of them actually came to Disney, auditioned for Voices of Liberty, wanting to be in Voices of Liberty, planned for the audition and did the callback, the whole process, and got in. But it's all over many, many different years. I mean, Tiff started in '89 and I started in 2011. So there's a little bit of space.
Then from that, Voctave came. Did you go to all of them and say, hey, y'all want to start a new group called Voctave? Or how did that happen?
Well, it was back to the Love Medley with Jeremy and Kirsten. He was the one that said, because we had done a couple videos between the Fly Medley and when we were going to put the other one out, and it was kind of based on who was available and who I thought would be right for this specific song.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he said, no more shifting of people. He's like, pick your people, and you need to have a name. And he actually helped me come up with the name, which was interesting. But
well, tell me about that.
So at that point, I thought we were just going to be a recording group, and I was just going to produce and arrange and produce and sit in the studio, and I had 8 singers. And I had the 8 of them in there, and I wanted to use 8VA, which in music, if you put 8VA over top of notes, it means to play or sing them an octave up. If you put 8VA underneath notes, it means to play them an octave lower. And I thought it'd be a kind of a funny play on words because we sing so high and we sing so low. And he said, no, that's dumb. And I thought, what? And he goes, that's a dumb idea. That's too music nerd. Nobody wants to hear that. And I was like, well, you don't have to explain the music nerd part of it. He goes, okay, well, then go try to trademark 8VA right now. And I said, okay. And of course you can't trademark it. It's a musical term. He goes, go try to buy the URL. So I did. And it's one of those URLs that, like, if you try to buy, someone will contact you and say, oh, we'll sell you the URL for $20,000.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, no. And he goes, pentatonics is not a word. Pentatonic with a C is a word. They changed one letter. And he goes, so what does 8VA mean? And I said, it means an octave above. And he goes, stop right there. And he goes, you put a V in front of it, and there's your name, Voctave. And I was like, okay. And he goes, buy the URL right now and go trademark it. And I did that day. So, and at first I didn't really like it. And he goes, eventually it'll just be a word. Just do it and you'll be fine and it'll be great. And he was right.
Wow. And the rest is history. What's the future for Voctave?
Well, I'm, again, kind of like how we started. We're just kind of taking this a day at a time. But what's kind of cool right now, even just last night, we had our very first symphony show ever. And we've signed with a new agency, Opus 3 Artists. We signed with them at the beginning of last year, which they are our new booking agents, and they're doing great, wonderful things for us, which is exciting to move into that world of doing different venues and presenters all over the world. But one market that we're trying to open up for them is the symphony show. And actually last night we were where I work. My full-time job is I'm a professor at a college here in Orlando, in Winter Park, at Rollins College, and housed there at Rollins is the Bach Festival Society. And my boss, the chair of the department, is the conductor for the orchestra and the choir. And so last night we did a concert with the Bach Festival Orchestra of half of our tunes were a cappella and half of them had orchestrations, which were orchestrated, by the way, by David Clydesdale.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they were pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
They weren't just little high school orchestrations. They were pretty incredible. But so the goal is to then maybe kind of be able to move into that market and be able to do some more touring and more live performances. And so that's, I mean, after we realized we weren't really going to just be a recording group and we needed to do some live performances, I was writing more than 8 parts. So that's when I added 2 more people, another girl and another guy. And that was now where we've sat from about 3 years.
And, you know, for my listeners, I've known Tiffany the longest of all of you, because she was with Sandy Patty, and And what a joy. I mean, what I love about these guys when I came the day to film and record that, or a few days I was there, everybody's, like you said, they are the most normal. I have found the most talented people are some of the nicest people. It's the ones that are almost talented that can serve an attitude. Haven't you found that to be true?
Yeah, it's nice because I mean everybody talks to me and they say, "Well, don't you just have all the diva attitudes in your group?" And I'm like, "We actually have a lot of fun." I mean, my face usually ends up hurting because I'm laughing so hard with my friends before we go out on stage, just because it's fun.
Yeah.
I picked these people to work with because not just because they're freakishly talented, but because I want to work with them.
Right.
And Tiffany's no exception. She's definitely a a freak among humans, and when she sings, you need. I think I told you, Mark, we're coming to you next January. I know that's far off,
In
but
Houston?
yes, I
Okay,
think
and
we're gonna.
anybody else who wants, wherever you're living, go to Voctave, VOCTAVE.com, which I'll put up on the screen. But that's where you check your schedule, where they're coming to
Yes,
your town. They can find you on Facebook, I'm sure, also.
yes,
And so I will be there. Lord
good.
willing.
And then you'll get to hear Tiffany sing "The Impossible Dream," which will just blow your socks off. We did it last night with the orchestra, and people couldn't even stand or couldn't wait to stand to their feet when she gets to that end, the unreachable star, and she hits star, and it's just spectacular.
Oh,
It was a cool night, and what was really cool is we had I as a professor, I've got a bunch of students, and so the student choir was. We kind of played it off as though we'd run out of seats in the hall, and we put them on the stage behind us, sitting in the chairs. So they sat there for the whole concert, and then the Impossible Dream was our closer. And right towards the end, when it builds the ba da 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 and the world, when it goes to the end, they all stood up and joined us and sang from there to the end. And it was a very chilling moment. It was awesome. And so the audience, just with the orchestra and the student choir and us singing and Tiffany leading us, it was pretty epic. So
well, I tell you, when I can't wait to hear all that. But you do a lot of gospel music too, Christian music in your concerts, right?
well, especially at Christmas time. Yes, definitely at Christmas time.
Yeah. But I
We've
mean,
got
if a church had you in, you do some Christian songs also, right?
yeah, we've got. I mean, we have the option for. We've recorded a couple of hymns, which was kind of cool. One of my absolute favorite arrangements that we've ever done is "Come Thou Fount," and actually, I wrote it as a gift for a friend of mine. It was for her wedding, and she actually walked down the aisle to our recording of it, which was kind of cool.
Oh my.
And I've got it's a lovely arrangement of "It Is Well with My Soul" that the group recorded for our first album. That is nice as well.
Well, are you going to do a hymns project?
I mean, we sit and talk about all the different projects that we would love to do, and I mean, we've got a whole bunch of in mind. And
Please do a hymns
I
project
would
before
love to.
I pass.
The group. Well, then I don't have much time, right? I guess. No, I would love to do a hymns album. I love those hymns, and I know the group loves recording that kind of stuff. And it would be nice to just go in and record a hymns album. Would be fun.
Yeah,
It'd be lovely.
I would love it. Oh my gosh, I think when EJ sang that hymn song, what was the Christmas song he sang?
Oh, come all you faithful.
Oh gosh, oh my Lord, I'm telling you that I'm Baptist and I could hardly speak English. I was about to go into tongue. Everybody should look up Voctave, "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," right?
Yes.
Okay. And just then comment below and tell me if I'm not right. The boy is amazing.
He is.
And he looks like he's 12.
He'll love hearing that. But I'll tell you this, while he sounds great on that video, he sounds at least that good live. Every concert we did, people would say, "Oh, I'm sure that you stretched that note out, or you went in and doctored that note." And I'm thinking, I didn't need to.
How did you know I could hold a note that long? Because you had that arrangement before I got there.
I did. And it's funny because I mean, like, I've
'Cause I
heard
barely
the vocal
made it.
band stuff, but you did. I've heard Gaither Vocal Band stuff for years, and I've heard you sing for years, and I know that you are a posted note kind of person. And I thought he could do this. If anybody could do, and I knew right where to put it, in the good sweet spot for a nice baritone. And you came in and you
What
just,
an honor it was.
it was great.
And you know what? I knew. I mean, let's just be frank. I was the lead singer in the room, but my gosh, they treated me like I was an equal, and that is important because even though you look at me differently, I'm still a little hyperactive kid inside, right? And so all the cool kids were treating me as an equal, and I know that goes back in some psychotherapy I probably need to work through. But I love them. I love them as people. More than their talent. They were so kind and so gracious and so fun, like you said. And so I just loved it.
One of my favorite moments was having Crystal sing some Vestal with you. Because Crystal grew up, she actually toured with the Gaithers, and she did that, and she, I think, got to sing on stage with Vestal, and man, she can give you a really good Vestal impression with the hanky and everything. It was,
you know what we got to do, if at all possible, when y'all are in Houston during the day, let me come over and interview everybody for my show and talk to them too.
Yes, they would love it.
I would love that. Okay, well, Jamey, is there anything else you can think of? Is there anything else anywhere else we can send people to learn more about Voctave besides?
Well, right now we are still putting, I don't know if that January tour, all the dates have been put up yet, so keep checking for the dates for different things. We'll soon be posting our Christmas tour of 2019, and we're going to be spending that mostly on the West Coast. So California, and I think we got an Arizona date and maybe a Vegas date. But if you're out on the West Coast, we're finally coming out there, and that'll be exciting for next Christmas because we'll actually be in another climate that's still probably warm, because we went to Maine and New Hampshire last 2 weeks ago, and man, this group experienced temperatures that no one's ever felt before. I walked outside in -4 degrees and started coughing immediately, and I was like, what's happening? And the people there are like, oh, this is normal. And I'm like, oh, lucky you. Great, this is normal. It feels terrible. I'm like, I feel like I'm dying. My lungs just seized up. It was awful.
How did everybody do up there?
It was fine. It was very dry, so that was hard.
But isn't it beautiful? Aren't they sweet people up there, though?
It was great.
I don't get up to Maine much, but the lobster. I hope you had lobster.
Everybody said lobster. It was yes, it was awesome. I mean, Portland was just beautiful. I'd never even been to New Hampshire. It was really nice. Just beautiful little town. As we were leaving New Hampshire, there was a little like town square that we were driving out of, and it was so cold and there was so much ice. There were ice sculptors in the little town square there carving things up as we were driving out, which is something that is so foreign to us. So that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, so check dates for tours. We'll be putting them up soon. Definitely the Christmas one will probably go up in the next month or so. But yeah, hopefully you'll see us for some symphony shows coming up. That's definitely an exciting thing in our future, hopefully.
I'm excited to see what happens for you and Voctave. I think I love Clydesdale. I love all the arrangers I've heard, but they've all got nothing on you, Jamey. God has given you a great gift, and you're a young man. And I'm so proud to watch what God will be doing with you and through you. And another thing, everybody I know in that group really loves the Lord too, right? Yeah,
it's a great group. I mean, it's a great group of people, and that we've been in and out of churches, we've been in and out of schools, we've been in and out of performing arts centers, and everyone is just as comfortable everywhere we go. It's been really nice.
Haul the water to the ocean and the desert. Do it both. I love you guys.
We love you.
Jamey.
Well, there you have it, y'all. That's Jamey Ray. Well, they're still singing in the other room, but I wanted to tell you before I let you go that Vonnie Lopez, she's got a new single out called Love is True. Love is True. You can go to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and most digital platforms. Please check out Vonnie Lopez. Love is True. Hey, I will see you next Monday. Bradley Walker is going to be my guest. So tune in, y'all. Love you guys. Bye-bye.